Hello and welcome to the Knowi video training. In the previous module, the Datasets and Data Modelling, we created a connection to our first data source, we set up our first query and built our first dataset. In this module, to do with joins, we'll be looking at creating a new data source and then adding that to the query we already have. So it all starts with clicking on the Queries button again and creating our new data source. This time we're going to connect to a completely different data source, so we'll go for MySQL and give it our own name. And then we'll test the connection and we'll save. Rather than creating a new query, we'll actually add this to the query we already have. So I'll click on queries here. Then here's the query we built last time. So let's edit this. And the first thing we want to do is actually join the source. So I'm going to click on join source. It's asking me for the data source I want to look at. So I know it's a MySQL data source. And here's the MySQL video training we set up. The next thing I'll need to do is actually select a table. So in this case, I'm just going to pick up the customer table. And then we can create our join fields. If I know what they are, I can type those in by hand and create the join interest here, or I can click on join builder, which will build it for me. Now, the first thing I want to understand is what is the join type. If I leave it with nothing, it's going to create a union between the two data sets. Or I can select an inner join, left, right, full outers, or we also have a loop join. A loop join is more like a nested loop, which we normally use for APIs. So we'll pull some data out from one API, which will then be fed into the next API to give us the data set we're looking at. In this case, we're just going to do an inner join. We can decide whether we want to do a hash, a multi-hash, or a sort as we go through building the query as well. And then we specify what the fields are on the left-hand side, which in this case is customer, and on the right-hand side, which is also customer as well. We can now save it. Having done that, we can see that here's our Mongo data set, and I can preview the data that comes from just there. I can also preview the data that comes directly from MySQL, and then I can do a full preview, which will show me the data collated between the two of them. This also means if I go to the editor section, I have a transformation section for each of the levels as well. So I have a transformation for Mongo, for MySQL, and we also have a post-query transformation as well. So once the two data sets have been added together, we can then carry out our transformations and build the results that we're looking for. I hope this has been useful, and I look forward to speaking to you in our next module.